Hi, my name is Richard Amster. I'm one of the chef instructors at the Suffolk County Community College Center for Culinary Arts and Hospitality here in Riverhead, New York. This demo is going to be the production of pate choux, or cream puff paste. The first step in producing pate choux is to add the water, the oil, the sugar, and the salt into a stainless steel pan and bring this to a boil. You can use oil, you can use butter, you can use water, you can use milk, depending on the formula that you're using. Once this comes to a boil, we're going to take the pot off the heat and we're going to add in sifted bread flour. Okay, as you can see, the oil, the water, the sugar, and the salt have come to a boil. I'm going to take this off the heat temporarily and I'm going to slowly add in the sifted bread flour. I'm doing this off the heat because as I start to stir this, I don't want any splatter, which can potentially burn you. So I'm slowly going to bring this together. I'm going to put it back on the heat, and then I'm going to be very vigorous in stirring to make this into a smooth paste. The idea here is to cook out the raw flavor of the flour and make a smooth paste. So usually about a minute or two of vigorous stirring is all you really need. This is the first step in making the pate choux paste. This we're going to call a pate choux base. So there we have it. Smooth, uniform, no visible flour. Our base is complete. The next step is going to be placing this very hot base onto a sheet tray lined with plastic wrap. We're going to put this in the refrigerator in order to allow it to cool. The next step in making pate choux paste is going to be the addition of egg to this base. And we don't want the egg to be mixed in with extremely hot base, as that may cook the eggs. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a refrigerator should be enough to cool this out. You notice that I'm flattening it out and taking a heavy, dense mass and spreading it out very thin so that it will cool much faster. As we said, we allowed the pate choux base to cool in the refrigerator. It has cooled, and what you want to basically do is make sure that it is cool, but at least less than 140 degrees so that we don't risk cooking the eggs when we add them in. So we're going to take the pate choux base, put it into the mixer, with the paddle attachment. Now, we're going to paddle this on low speed, and then in approximately thirds, we're going to add in 8 scrambled eggs. I've scrambled the eggs in advance so that we get an even mixture of white and yolk in the addition, and not just yolks or not just whites. We want to allow that first addition of eggs to be completely absorbed by the base, and this is going to entail stopping the machine, scraping everything off of the paddle and the side of the bowl before we add another addition of egg. When you do this, make sure that you're always flipping from the bottom of the bowl. We want to make sure that everything is properly incorporated. You can see with this second addition that the base is starting to turn a little bit on the yellow side. That's the addition of the eggs. It's also sticking a little bit more to the paddle and also to the bowl itself. So scraping down and making sure that everything is fully incorporated becomes very important. At this point, one of the easiest ways to get material off of a paddle like that is just to use your two fingers. Spatulas tend to get in the way, they're not so efficient, but I find that using two fingers is a really quick, easy way to get just about all of the material off of the paddle and into the bowl. Again, we want to scrape this down so that every bit of that base is available to absorb the next addition of egg. You can see that the base is becoming much more yellow, much softer, much more pliable. We're almost there. I always hold back a little bit of egg. I'm going to add most of this, but I'm going to hold back just a little bit because you can always add more, but if you add too much, the paste at that point won't hold its shape when we pipe, and that's an important criteria. I am going to add just that last little bit of egg. Now, the criteria that we're looking for to determine if we've added the right amount of egg and if the now pate choux paste is complete is that when we stop the machine, we want to see just a little bit of a slide of the paste down the paddle. Not much, just a little bit. The finished pate choux paste should be smooth, pipeable, and pipeable to the point where it will hold its shape. So it's not so stiff and definitely not so loose. Now as I turn off the machine, see if you can catch the paste sliding down gently off of the paddle. Just that little bit is fine, and I think we're done. All right, our pate choux paste is complete. It's smooth, it's satiny, it's beautifully yellow, and now we have to talk about piping the different shapes. The products that we're going to make from this pate choux are eclairs, cream puffs, a French dessert called a Paris Brest, a dessert created to commemorate a bicycle race between those two cities, Paris and Brest. And then, although there's no template here, I'm also going to pipe out large teardrop shapes, which will then eventually turn into the classic swan. So, in order to fill the bag, of course, you take your piping bag, cuff it down deeply, put your hand underneath it. You've got an 826 star tip in the bag, and I'm going to grab some of that paste, put it in the bag, bring the cuff up, and squeeze the paste down. You don't have to overfill the bag because you want to be able to get a lot of power out of your squeezing hand, and the less material in the bag seems to be an easy way to do that. The first thing I am going to do, however, is take a little bit of that paste and glue down the corners of the parchment paper. This is a very sticky material, and piping sometimes lifts up the paper, makes things a little bit more difficult. So, cinch the bag between your thumb and your index finger, and let's begin piping. For the peri breast, we're making a circle. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe inside that circle by steering that lead coming out of the bag. And as I get close, I'm going to stop squeezing, but I'm going to continue moving until I get that beautiful round shape. We'll do it one more time. Stop squeezing, but bring it around, and there you go. That will become the peri breast. The next shape I want to demonstrate is a rosette. Inside these circles, this will become a cream puff. And there you go. You end up with something like this, a little water on a fingertip is all you really need to tap that down. Try to make the shapes even in size and in portion. All right, the last two shapes I want to pipe are the eclair and then also the teardrop shape, which will become the swan body. So for the eclair, you can hold the bag a little bit more horizontally, squeeze, a nice straight line, and bring that back just a tad. Squeeze. And there we go. Those will become eclairs. And now the last shape I want to show you is the large teardrop, which will become the swan body. An easy way to remember this is to squeeze but don't move the bag, squeeze and move the bag, and then stop squeezing, like this. Squeeze, don't move the bag, squeeze, move the bag, stop. Nice teardrop shape. Squeeze, don't move the bag, squeeze, move the bag, stop. Squeeze, don't move the bag, squeeze, move the bag, stop. And squeeze, don't move the bag, squeeze, move the bag, stop. Those will become the swan bodies. The last thing I want to show you is how you would pipe the neck and head of the swan. All right, so what I've done is I've transferred some of the pate choux paste into another piping bag. I've cut a very small hole in the tip, and now I'm going to pipe what will be the head and neck of the swans for the body. So there we have it. The shapes, the swan body, the teardrop shape, the swan head and neck, the peri breast, the cream puff, the eclair.